What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I want to welcome you all to September 27th, 2025, AI for Breakfast. This isn't just another call. We're going to be talking about the AI Builder Circle, which is a space where basically the visionaries, entrepreneurs, all the innovators, they're all laying the foundation for the future. As you all know, AI is moving faster than any tech before. But while most people are basically watching it from the sidelines, everybody that's inside the builder circle is actually creating and not waiting. So these are people that's launching projects, building businesses, leveraging AI to solve problems basically in ways that has never been done before. So this is practical, this is tactical, this is Skyton Academy, this is AI Visionaries Network. I'm Champ Bobbitt, this is Steve Bayonne. Steve, without further ado, my good brother, got the floor.
What's good?
My
Oh
God.
man. All right. So first things first. So the AI Visionaries Network, for those of you who are new, it's a free community and online resource for all things associated with AI for as fast as we can keep up with it. Right. Um, we built it a few months back. It grew fairly quick. Engagement hasn't been all that great. Um, for obvious reasons. We just haven't really been posting or keeping engagement up. So we built a AI Builder Circle group. It was our first live session, and of course, guys, when we go through live sessions, there are things um, that you always want to fine tune or even expand on. So the vision for me at the time was to really help people get businesses off the ground, right? But then what I saw was I'm kind of getting my own businesses off the ground, and it would spread me too thin to train each individual person to kind of do that. So what I decided to do was create a AI Builder Circle, which is part one, just to show people that it is possible to come up with an idea, right? And that was the one of the premise of the actual group was to say we are all architects in our right mind if we actually think about it. Most people just tell themselves, "Oh, I can't invent something," or everything's been invented, and you kind of like not go through the process of thinking to invent something or create something. So it worked, right? There were people that were coming up with 6, 7, 8 different ideas. Guys, every day we say to ourselves at some point in the day, damn, I wish this could have been done this way. I wish, or something could change, right? Or if you had something, now we're at the age in technology where if you say it, you can create it, even if it's only for you to solve one problem in one day that you go through. So we started this group. I think it had about 38 members. And then they all got the building. Everybody had their own personal ideas. Some people had ideas that they wanted to deploy to market. So what I said was, I said, you know what? Let's come up with the idea first. AI Builder Circle, learn track, and then part two would be a fast track. So after you create the learn track, because the thing is, I didn't want to work with people who just didn't have a basic idea yet. Like I don't want to like source an idea. I want you to get through what it takes to actually think about an idea, and that was what we created with the group. And I felt it was a success. And then from what the students were saying, now we're moving into fast track where next week you guys will get it. The builders only will get an email and a message if you wanted to present the fast track directly to me. I'm going to give you guys everything that you need to do. Right? We're talking about shooting a video, letting me know what the product is. I'm going to handpick who I work with. There's gonna be a fee associated with it. So what it's gonna do is gonna get you to working with me one on one to get your idea fine tuned. You already have the idea now. Like I'm not picking somebody with no idea. Now we're gonna take that and we're gonna fine tune it. Whether we're gonna use Replit, whatever we're gonna use, we're gonna get it to ready for deployment. Now I'm not deploying it with you. I'm not partnering with you. If I see it's something that I like and I want to put some money and some legs behind it, then cool. We can talk about that. After we get to the point of this site almost being ready to, and when I say deploy, meaning getting it online and starting to market, I'm not doing that part, right? It is to just get you a functional working website. I think the first thing is, and I saw a couple of your ideas, and then there's ideas that I have that could either add to what you're doing, or I could say, you know what, let's think about going this way with it. Where people fail is at market, right? Not understanding who or what the market is, right? So you have to have a strong understanding of not only the product, but okay, who's the product for, and then how are we going to speak to these people? How are we going to reach these people? So this is what I've been doing my damn near 3 decades as an entrepreneur. I wouldn't even say successful in the sense of not even so much money, successful in the sense of deploying projects because I'm able to step outside of myself, forget the way that I need to be presented with stuff because I don't think the way that a common person thinks. So I have to think about how the common person thinks. And then when I deploy something, I'm constantly listening to what they're saying, right? If you want to test the product, you always give it to somebody that has zero to no knowledge about it, right? The most basic person could come up with the greatest questions. But if somebody's already kind of trained and thinking a certain way and doing whatever, they're only going to think about it in the way that they were trained and never really step outside of that box. That's usually called an employee, for the most part. Now that we know we're moving off of the traditional 9 to 5 roles, I don't think in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be the workforce as you know it is not going to look how it looks today. Traditional 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. I pay you a salary to do it. It's not going to work like that. If you do have a job like that, you'll be working alongside AI that's going to help you expand into other areas. So this is where I tell you that the most valuable people in the future are going to be what I call architects, not the architect in the way that you think about it, in the way that you can build, connect, and give a vision or work with somebody's vision and help bring that vision to life. Right. So you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset and spirit. Those are going to be the most successful people in the future. So as I'm sitting here and I'm teaching this shit, I'm like, yo, I'm missing out on so much opportunity because I'm teaching, right? This is the part where I break away from the teaching and I get into my implementation role. So in being in Colombia for the past 2 months, I noticed a I noticed opportunity in a market that's emerging, and these were opportunities that I was working on 10 years ago, right? So same thing when you fast forward here, when you start to study like the 90s, which I was too young at the time to capitalize on the start of the internet. The number one the people who benefited the most were not only the architects who built, but they were also the consultants, the guys who went out to understand what the architects built, to then say, you know what, I'm going to teach the common person about this. So consultants were getting paid high salaries to work for people, and then consultants that broke out on their own were getting paid even more because you don't really have to work for somebody. You have time to kind of nurture your own clients and things like that. So the same thing is happening here with AI. I just think now we're at a race to against like the top companies, right? Because what they'll end up doing is you see so many AI products today, you're not going to see any of them within the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to be the Googles, the Amazons, the Microsofts. Those guys are going to create out the box situations for people. But where we have the advantage right now is first movers advantage, right? It's not going to mean that they're going to be able to capture the entire market. They're just going to, I like it because they'll end up getting rid of a lot of different products, because I think that's what confuses a lot of people is that there's thousands of AI products and tools and they just don't know what to use. Most of them won't be around, okay, once the dust settles. So when I talk about first movers position, when you look at like inside the AI Visionaries Network, guys, we have a bunch of free courses that you take. If you're new, I would tell you, and if you're old, I would tell you to take those courses, at least get through it. It gives you a foundational understanding of what AI is. And then we get into a couple paid products. This is where I'm going to kind of clean this thing up a little bit. We have AI Consultant Blueprint. This is like giving you ideas of businesses that you can start now in ways that you can start to implement and sell other businesses. So the guy that's going to get left behind in the future is a small business owner who doesn't have the mindset of keeping up with the times. That's our number one client. You understand? That could be mom and pop. That could be small, even small to mid businesses. If they don't keep up with AI, um, they're going to find themselves not being able to keep up with in their market. So we could present ourselves to a multitude of clients. All right. Even the small, the mid businesses, even large businesses that are looking for a person to come in as a role. Right now, you're an independent contractor. You get to control your time. You get to add value. You get a big check, and then you're out. So this is the phase that I'm in right now. I don't want to lose opportunity and look back and say, "What the fuck was I doing? Just teaching a bunch of people that really didn't implement it." Let me get back on what I used to do, and now just to give you a backstory, what held me back from a lot of great ideas was the technical part back in the day. right? It wasn't as easy as today where you can go on Fiverr or you can go to Replit and all these things and do voice prompts and find people or even build it yourself. If I would have had the technology then with the ideas I have or had then, forget it. I would have deployed so much first to market for sure. Now that we're back here, I'm like, the same opportunities hold true now. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys uh, two ideas and concepts that I'm working on right now. So, and you already know, the first one would be the AI impact report. So, if you haven't taken that, it's a good resource. It basically tells you where you're at in the market based on your um, industry, right? And then we run a customized report to tell you, hey, based on your industry, this is where it's going. This is the jobs that are going to be created. These are the jobs that are going to be eliminated. So at least you get a leg up to understanding what's happening in your industry. And then we also gave you the ability to take courses inside of that report. So everyone that's ran it, loved it, valuable information. Cool. So what I said was, all right, well, it's not enough to reach the masses in the way I need it because everybody is going to be impacted by artificial intelligence. Not just the people in the current workforce, but students that are coming up within the next, you could have a freshman in high school, even my kids that are in middle school and high school, they're going to be affected by AI. So we can't like pay for college in 2 years if we're not researching what the skills they need. That would just be dumb. So cool. There's some parents who got their kids out the house and then they're in school right now, but they're not unaware of this certificate is not going to be worth its squeeze, right? So now, if you would have had the information, think about it: a 97 or $37 or $47 report could have saved you hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans. Literally, there's kids sitting inside of courses right now where the professors are telling them there's no jobs in the market as we speak, and they're not giving no money back. So what the fuck? All right. So I felt the AI impact report is one of those situations that can help people, and we need to just help people in the masses because it has to be quick. All right. So it can't just be one report at a time. Now, with that said, the way we created it, Champ and I would customize it, like literally customize it until that report is done, and then it's no longer needed. It can just you can just buy it and it's ready. Okay, that's kind of slow. So the idea was to create a site that automates the entire process. So the minute somebody comes in, they put their industry in, they're able to get their industry report, and I'm talking about at a fraction of the price. The reason things cost what they cost is because of either work that's being put in. So if we have to customize, then it has to we have to charge a little bit more. Now, when it's done and you're buying a pre-made situation based on your industry, then we've lowered the price, right? Easy, no problem. So now what I'm thinking is even lowering the price even more to say a, a small amount, anywhere between $1 to $5, let's just say per report. So now what it does is it makes it affordable for all people. We just have to sell the people on understanding that cost and price is not value. Y'all got to start understanding that. Just because the Bugatti is $1 million doesn't mean it's the best car in the world, right? And just because something is $50 a month doesn't mean it's the worst online teaching platform in the world either. So we have to stop with thinking that value is associated with price and price is associated with value. They kind of live in the same space, but they're not in the same house. All right. So once we lower the barrier of entry for people to come in, now we have to understand that data is the number one commodity in the world, and then energy is that's my new talking point now. Energy is also a big commodity that we don't even know how much of it we give away, right? Power and energy. So that you'll start to get that from me in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, so with data, now that we have this database of millions of people, right? This is where we're going with it. What can we do with that? What's the power in the data? So then I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, well, if it's a job market, right? A product that's associated with a job market or even school, we can position ourselves within the educational sector. We can position ourselves within the job boards and say, hey, listen, we have 2, 3 million people that are in these industries, either in the industries, looking to go to industries or looking to go to new industries. What is the value of that data at that point now? Now we can turn this into um, a headhunter situation where we could connect with LinkedIn, we could connect with Monster. Like I don't know all the boards, but I'm sure I could figure it out where everybody's at right now. What would they pay for the leads? You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it's more about the IP and it's about selling the tech. That's all I'm about in 2026 is setting up tech companies and selling them immediately. I don't care if there's no value, little to no value. I just need to create IP and sell IP. Right? If you don't need it,
Steve, I think we lost you. Um, are y'all experiencing the same thing? Yeah, yeah, we're losing you.
how far out? What was the last thing you heard?
Um, you right after you spill about the new talking points about data. It was like right after that.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Damn, they clipping me. All right, so the to go back, the new my new talking point is going to be energy. So data being a commodity, but energy also being one of the major commodities that nobody talks about. How we where we give our energy, how much energy we give to something, that's going to be in the future. So now to rewind it back, the AI impact report. Did you guys hear anything about that?
Yes.
Okay. So when we create this AI impact report, I want to open it up to the masses. Now I'm looking at it and saying, all right, if data is one of the number one commodities in the world, this is what makes platforms and applications valuable, whether they make a dollar or not. So because we have money that's one of the hardest is if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product, right? We could find a way to merge this situation. We could say, all right, well, it could be free or it can be a paid model because there is value to what we're giving. Okay. So we add a small number to it. Cool. We got the numbers. We make the money. Now, the next part is this thing keeps freezing on me. Why? Okay. So now the data, what can we do with the data? So if we know that this is a something potentially for job markets to either expand on something or upskill, we can now have data that we can sell to who? People that own courses that are to get certifications. We can form a partnership with them. We could form a partnership with universities and schools, right? We could form a partnership with online teaching academies, you name it, right? And we could also form a partnership with job boards or headhunters. So now we have all these people. We have the information of where they're from, what industries they're in, what industries they're looking to go to. Now we can start to pull together the resources that they need, right, in a proper way. That's a valuable company. So when I talk about IP, intellectual property is an asset. It's a way that you can make money in perpetuity even without having to keep working. All right. This is one of the plays, guys. I don't want y'all to think that we only hyper focus on stocks, bonds, crypto, this, that. Being an architect is somebody that can create something for someone to then use, whether it be a home, a job, whatever. That's the first one. All right. So that one, this is going to be one of those things where I'm going to bring everybody into the fold if you want to invest. Okay. I'm going to have in investment uh, kind of options for people to be able to get in. Right. Not only would you be investing, but the knowledge, right? Because this is going to be a kind of a decentralized autonomous organization. So we're going to move towards a DAO. So it's going to be one of those things where everybody that's invested will have a say and a seat at the table, right? So when we start to say we're going to launch this, we're going to do this, we all vote on it. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, then we just scrape it. All right. Um, so now with that model, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to
We we're losing you again, Steve. Damn it. Um, I'm gonna pause it. You wanna just you wanna
All right. So when we talk about intellectual property, it's one of those things that we have to get involved in. So now when we have a situation where you can be part of investing in a tech company, having a seat at the table, right? Being part of the cap table, which is important. We're going to start talking about all that stuff. The non-negotiator is going to be there is no option to not sell, right? This is to be built. This is to be sold. Okay. So with that said, there's going to be a couple rules on what we vote on. And there's going to be some things that are just like absolute. This is what we're put here for. Okay. Now, if we get a good exit, everybody gets a percentage based on whatever the portion that they invested in. And this is only for the AI impact report. But again, you get to see something being built and how we can wrap technology and AI around it. Boom. Here's the product that I came up with the other day. And this is coming off of Colombia and just seeing a void in their market. Now the Colombia market is like wide open. Like I can go as far back as like just ruling the internet when it comes down to service providers. So the one thing I realized, and this is happening in America too, the way that we collect leads constantly changes and evolves based on where we're at in technology and what we have at our disposal. So if you're old school and you think you're going to go take an ad out in the yellow pages, I can tell you that that shit doesn't work anymore, right? You can go over to Craigslist, you can go here, you can go to Facebook, you can go to, you can buy ads on Instagram. It is changing completely every day the way that we inquire or acquire data or generate sales or leads, right? So lead capture is always going to be the driver that keeps companies afloat. You need new people coming through doors. So as companies are shutting down, what's happening is their inability to get leads, and then their product could just be something that nobody wants. Now, let's think about what you can't avoid. My hot water heater is giving me signs that it's about to go out. I cannot avoid that, right? I have to put out money. I have to get a service guy to come in here and they have to fix it. I'm catching it early just so I don't have no problems, because if I don't and something happens, I still have to do the same thing, and then I may have to fix some shit, depending on leaks and things like that. So when your garage door opener doesn't work, if you're not a handy person, you have to call somebody, right or wrong, right? Your HVAC, anything associated with your home, if you're not handy, you're going to have to call somebody to eventually fix that thing. Electric, plumber, y'all see where I'm going with this. This can go into furniture. This can go into any industry, retail and service, but I'm going to stick with service first, because in times of economic distress and things like that, people tend to cut back on things they don't really need. And then when the emergency stuff comes up, right? If your car went down today, you had a flat tire, do you have the ability to say, just leave it? Probably not. You gotta get it fixed. Okay. Yeah. So when you think about these service guys, the one thing about the service industry is they've never really caught up to technology. They use services like Thumbtack, third-party services that would allow them to find customers. And they're great services. They make money. You got Angie's List, you got Craigslist. There's some solid ones that are out there. So as I was in Colombia, I'm looking, I'm like, man, these people don't have really no websites. They don't really have brochures. And then when I'm looking at the data from Google and the different search engines that they use out there, I'm like, they don't know how to be found, really. You know what I'm saying? They just, what happens there in those countries is they have districts. So when you go to a district, it's all electric. Boom, 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 boom. So if this person doesn't have it, you go to that person. So they don't really have to rely on how we compete here. We don't really have districts. You can't really go somewhere to say, let me go to the electronic district, right? You go to Target, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Home Depot, you can go to Amazon. Like, you could find what you're looking for. That's how we operate in America. So for them to be in districts, what happens is, before, I didn't know where the districts were until I hit the street. So it's still kind of old school. So once I got the districts, I'm like, okay, I got it. Now, once I got into the districts, I'm like, but damn, these people need some help in the back end, right? They don't know how to get their information out to the masses the way that we do. They weren't taught the way that we were taught. This is why this capitalist market is like primed for when you start to bring your IP, intellectual property, to other countries that are a little bit slower. So you could play this game with these guys here and try to keep up with all the tech that's moving so fast, or you could find ways to, you don't even have to move to emerging markets. You can just identify them and then create the product. It's web-based. You never have to go to a country, all right? So one of the ideas, and y'all can have it, and I don't need to sign no NDAs with people. I don't even care about competition, because I know what I'm capable of. And if that's what somebody wants to do, then go ahead. And if you're capable of it, then be capable. But I can tell you that most people don't trace. Just because you trace don't mean you're an artist. Anybody can trace. So now, here's the product. You have an emergency 2 a.m. You need a locksmith, you needed this, you needed that. That's the part that no one is going to ignore. Okay. So you set up this website, and it's a lead generation website. Let's just say for plumbers. Okay. The call comes in, the email comes in, the message comes in. It doesn't matter what it is. AI is running the entire play. Okay. And this is local. This is a local focus. It's not a national thing. It could be local to your zip code in your town. That's how valuable the information is. Then you can even go into a 10-mile radius, right? Most plumbers could do what? They can work in a particular area. They ain't going to go into a whole nother state to get work, right? So once we identify what that area is, we create these lead generation hubs for every service industry. It could be hair, it can be beautician. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just telling you, like, just expand a little bit. So now when the website is set up, AI is using the website to run it. You don't need any employees. Somebody calls up, it just identifies the person. Are you commercial? Is it residential? Is it an emergency? Do you need, boom, and then it fills the information. Now, what it does with the information is up to us. We could do one of two things. We could, this is in Go High Level right now. They have a scraper that can show you every business locally and give you all the data and information. So now what can I do? I could either go to those plumbers and say, listen, I have this site that you could either, one or two things can happen. I'm telling y'all, y'all better start printing some money soon. Check it. So you build a local lead gen site, right? We got that part. Now it's a niche website specific to local services, like I told you guys about. Okay. So now here's the tactic, and I'm giving y'all the playbook because that's the kind of guy I am. All right. So you do SEO, which is search engine optimization, targeted landing pages. All right. So it is specific to, let's say, garage door opener, Miami. Right. That's how specific it is. All right. 24/7 electricians, Atlanta. Yeah, see where I'm going? So it's simple lead capture forms, name, phone number, issue, zip. That's all you need. We ain't got to go too deep. Click the call, or you have a chat bot that can answer you immediately, right? Because that's what people want. So the goal is what? Own your own Google search presence near me, search for cities. How much of these sites do you think we can build? And then, once you build one, you're building all of them. It ain't nothing intricate.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be a plumber to do this either. That's the great part about being an architect. It don't fucking matter what it is. I can sell anything. All right. So then the second part is you're going to capture and you're going to route the leads. All right. So now we're going to integrate an AI voice bot. Okay. And again, when you go through the builder circle, you understand you have, Twilio and Twilo, and then you have Go High Level AI agent that's already built in, or you can use air.ai. So there's some other tools. So when you go through the builder circle, it starts to spark your brain a little bit. You start to see what it takes to be an architect. I would love to have smart money, right? I'll take all money, but smart money is the money that can sit alongside you and give ideas. So it'd be great as a collective if we could all come up with ideas and crafty things. I can't think of everything, right? So now you have the AI can answer the calls 24/7. It can qualify the leads, whether it's residential, commercial, like I said before, emergency or not. All right. Then it's going to either book it directly through the contractor's calendar, right? So now we can have contractors come on, they could pay us, and we can push that lead to their calendar or calendars, and then the first person to give a proper price. Like, I'm not going to care about everything going to one person. That's not what I'm interested in. I need it to be a fair market, and then the customer makes the final decision. Or if you say, you know what, I want to buy those zip codes, and I say, you know what, okay, I need $100,000 for this website. It's yours. Who wouldn't invest in that? That's the part that they don't have. They're not architects. They're just, again, I'm using the word architect, not in the form that it's supposed to be used in. They're plumbers. They just want to go out and get work. All right. So that you can either book it to the person's calendar directly, you can forward it to a hot lead call. You could hold the lead, and then you can sell it later. So I could set up a back end website. They pay every month, and then what they do is every time the leads come in, they have to react quick. It gets pushed out to them, and for as long as they're paying monthly, they get access to the leads. Now, whether they get the leads or not, it doesn't matter. What matters to them is if they caught 2 or 3 leads and it makes sense for them to stay on board, they keep paying. And that becomes a residual income. So either sell it at the top dollar for one person, or create residual income where multiple people can have access to it, or say, you know what, maybe I just created for 4 or 5 plumbers in that particular area,
and no more. And then they just, because we know that the business is going to be distributed between those guys. So they'll pay a little bit more to kind of split it between 4 people as opposed to 400 people. I see where I'm going with it. There's so many different pivots. All right. So the benefit is the contractors don't need to answer phone calls at 2 in the morning or handle any intakes. Convenience is supposed to really get you some money back. But the shit they selling us ain't even really making us money, and it's not giving us any more time. And it's like, yo, we just piling convenience on top of convenience on top of convenience. And it's like we're conveniently, we have things that don't even matter to us anymore. Why do I have 200 apps on my phone? What the fuck? Why? That's where we're running out of time. If you find yourself not being able to put in no time. So let's use these systems to buy us back time and get money. That's it. So find the service providers. This is where it's big. This is called the AI scraping. So AI scrapers can use, I won't go too deep in that, but basically you can scrape and pull lists of all local companies in that particular niche right now, instantly. Right. So then you get the company's name, you get the phone number, the website, the reviews, the email, boom, anything. If it's public, we'll find it. All right. So then we sell the leads directly to the businesses. It's a pay per lead model. Right. Or we could rent out the whole site exclusively to a territory for somebody that wants to pay a little bit more and have exclusive. Or we can sell the built outside the site outright with all the assets to one person in that particular city. I got every vertical covered. If you got 100K, 200K, boom, you buy the business. If you got $1,000 a month, boom, you buy the whole, or you rent out the whole website, $3,000 a month. Or if you want to just qualify the leads, you pay a small money, but any which way, fuck, man, I need to make money while I'm asleep. All right. So the monetization path, we can sell the leads, we can rent the site, or we can exit the actual play and sell, rent the site, sell the leads. Yeah, see where I'm going? Now, why is this particular situation powerful? Guys, I came up in an era where you couldn't do none of this because of the limitations of technology. Now we're here. It's scalable, right? You can replicate this in multiple cities, in multiple niches. So if it works in Atlanta, it wouldn't work in every major city in America. All right. AI leverage. So bots don't need staff to field calls. No staffing. All right, so now we're back to this. People aren't really valuable anymore like that. All right, architects are. You have this thing called a sticky model. Contractors hate losing calls. So if the system feeds them hot leads, and Champ, we talk about this all the time, they'll pay consistently. Okay, and then exit value, the lead gen site with AI intake are digital billboards that we can even flip and create other models within those models. See where I'm going with it? So if you have an issue with your boiler, and we broker deals with Ream and Bradford and all the companies that are associated with it, how valuable would that lead be? Would that particular situation can not only give them the person, but it could also give them the product. So if we wanted to catch a discount on the percentage on the product when the customer bought it, see what I'm saying? Now, not only the service provider, but the person that actually has the product is also a viable lead in this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what did I just do now? I just made the site more valuable. Sponsorship. That's why I say I'm leaving some of the teaching aspects alone. Fuck with my money now. I'm just saying, like, yo, people just don't want to learn. Like, this is not like making millions of dollars in that space like that until they're ready to learn, right? And I'm not pushing anymore. What I'm doing is I'm just moving to keep showing you who I am, what I do, and then for those that are ready, of course, more people are ready to make money than actually learn how to make money. I
Yeah.
stop playing the way the game's being played, all right, in an honest way. So examples of the flow in action, just so you guys know. Whether you rock with us or not, it don't matter. This call is valuable. And if you can figure this out, I kind of get the whole play. So someone Googles emergency plumber in Atlanta, right? That's usually what you do. They land on the site, they fill out the form, they click call now. The voice bot picks up, thanks for calling Atlanta plumber, whatever. Pros. Can I ask, is your plumbing issue an emergency or not? Right? Just simple field questions. And then it qualifies, it books, it routes, it provides whoever needs to be assigned to it. And then you charge the provider for that lead $50, or they pay a monthly fee and they just got it. What energy did I put out outside of building this thing?
Nothing.
So for the people that don't want to learn how to do this, that's fine. I got it. I'm going to learn how to do this and I'm going to make the money. You understand? For the people who don't have the experience in it, that's fine, because we're going to do it as a collective together. So whether you have the money to invest in it, whether you have a little bit of time to put into it, whether you have time to place a vote, whatever, you're going to learn through osmosis and you're going to make money, because I don't do shit that don't make no money.
Let's go.
So that's all I got for y'all on this great Saturday. Now, what we did was we opened the builder circle back up open again. So if you took the builder circle, your next step is, if you're sitting on that product and you've been chipping away at it, Wayne, all these people, you guys can start to pitch me. If I like it and you don't have the money, we can just have a conversation so I can just kind of sprinkle some stuff in with you guys. That's going to be a collective conversation, right? Not so much a one-on-one. All right. If you're ready to deploy, you move over to the fast track. That's going to be the next situation. So by next week, anybody that took the builder circle will then be able to come in on the fast track. We'll have the conversation. You'll pitch, and then we'll talk. Right? If the idea is great, then it could be one of those ideas that we can bring into the academy. I can jump in on funding, Champ could jump in, and then as a collective, all of us could jump in on funding the actual project. I told you what I wanted the academy to be was a hedge fund, in a sense where we never have to go to outside to find money or access to capital. So when crypto takes off, we're all going to have what? Access to capital. But what we won't have collectively is the knowledge to be able to figure out where we deploy the situation. But if we start to work on the play now, we start to invest in tech startups, in IP, we start to sit at the cap table. These are the conversations that we need to have. This is the type of shit and the reason why I built this from day one. It wasn't about making crypto millionaires. It was about how do we build our own systems and infrastructure that not have to fuck with these Zionists that keep controlling the things we do. You see what I'm saying? So access to capital was always an issue for the culture. That's no longer going to be an issue anymore. You understand? Access to information was always an issue. Put it in a book. Niggas don't read books. That's not an issue anymore. The access to knowledge is free now. That's not an issue. That's not a barrier. The access to building product off of not having any coding experience, that's not an issue anymore. So because I find myself or found myself frustrated with the fact that nobody wants to learn, so what? That's first mover's advantage. Now I build. I no longer teach. I build. So when I say I'm moving out of the teaching platform, it's in that realm. Now, yes, I will still teach through building, but the formal like, nah, just go, we hit play on that, take the quiz, and then you got your certificate. It doesn't mean shit if you ain't gonna do nothing with it.
Nah, real talk.
You gave it for free. Y'all don't know the value of it. Cool. But when you start seeing these tech companies being built, and that was really the piece. And I told you between 2026 and 27, I just want to build tech companies and I want to sell them. I've
Yeah.
never had an exit like that before. I've always thought about nurturing, keeping the product, and the next thing you know, technology came in and they ripped it. No, honestly, y'all want local sites, y'all want hyper local situations. All I have to do is identify things that matter to people. I don't care about fashion. I won't go into retail because those are kind of like the things that we probably need, we could live without. But the stuff that is like absolute that you cannot ignore, when that emergency comes up, you will find the money to fix whatever that problem is. That's the industries that I want to look at. And the crazy part about it is, even if I just stuck with plumbing, how many cities in America do you think there's a plumber or a person that has a problem as we speak right now?
Thousand.
How many
Thousand.
garage door openers are not opening or closing right now? And the problem is people don't have the time. People aren't skilled to change things.
Just happened to me.
Which one? Garage door?
Yep. And I had to call. And guess who came? Somebody else.
That's it. Or you just manually open your garage door. I've been there. I can't do that for too much longer, especially when the winter time is coming.
Facts.
You can park outside, no problem. Until you can't. Big problem.
Until your wife is on your neck.
Yeah, your wife would definitely be on your neck. I gotta cross the threshold for it. Like, just bring that shit inside the other way.
Or
But it's things like that. So once we could identify the industries, we always identify what the problems are. I don't need to ever know how to unclog a toilet bowl. It doesn't matter to me. I could be more successful than most plumbers locally because I have a knowledge that they haven't acquired. But this is part of the system of how we create together.
Mhm. That's the genius.
Yeah. So, Champ, if you want to drop the thing, if anybody's new and you want to take the AI builders situation, um, there is a link that Champ is going to drop to you. What I also want to do is give them an email will go out too, guys, but because you're on the call, you kind of get first mover position. But I want to give you the playback from the AI Builder Circle talk, so at least you kind of see where we were or what we talked about. And guys, just please understand that there's dates associated with it because it was live. Just kind of read through that because this is a learn at your own pace now. All right. It took us 4 weeks to do it. We did 1 week, one call a week. We had some breaks. It didn't go 4 weeks. I went into traveling into Colombia and it kind of threw me off a little bit. But if you can finish it literally in 2 weeks and 4 weeks if you want to just do full playback one day, homework the next few days, and then get into the next one after you finish the homework. All right. I want to let me give you the playback that you can watch.
Imagine making passive income as an affiliate marketer without.
I'll drop that in the chat. This is going to give you our first talk. This is what was kind of presented to the group before they signed up. So good value in that. If you are interested in joining what I just talked about, whether it be the AI impact, it's no specific thing, or just learning, wanting to be part of an investment group, right? Democratized investment group. Just drop a one in chat just so I can get an idea. Perfect. All right, so we're at a 1 hour hard stop now. Champ, take us out. Stay on the call because I want to call on you guys to do something. I just don't want to end the recording. Actually, you know what? Just let it play, but take us out and then
Okay, just let it roll.
Yeah, let it roll.
Got you. So ladies and gents, let's be real. What you just heard Steve talk about is exactly why the AI Builders Circle even exists. This isn't just solely about an idea, but it's about execution. These kind of plays that he just laid out so effortlessly, like this is next level. This is lead generation. This is automation. This is scalable digital assets. This is everything that's happening right now, and you're able to build it. You just got a super front row seat to this, along with all things that you might be seeing in the world of AI and technology. You're now seeing that even if you have an idea, you may even have a struggle to build it. But now you have a blueprint. Now you have tools. You have a network, a community of people that's all moving towards the same goal with the same urgency and a big vision. So whether you got the capital, whether you got the time, or just the hunger to be a part of something or fix something or create something that's bigger than yourself, this is where you're supposed to lock in. I hope the hairs on your arm are now standing up because Steve just brought a bunch of truth, right? AI is going to continue to speed up, is going to continue to move at what's called tech speed. And everybody who is able to build are the ones that's going to be able to own their own lanes tomorrow. All right. So don't sit on the sidelines. Don't sit on your hands. If you have an idea, if you can identify a problem, you are the architect. Each and every one of you guys hold that title. Step into it. Get inside the AI builder circle today. Plant your flag. Let's build. All right. This is going to wrap AI for breakfast, September 27. Love you guys. Appreciate you all. Stay on the call.